Look how soft that one came off. And see, I love that because it went in. It literally went in.
Yeah, 67.
Okay.
I think that's like, yeah, especially kind of just taking like, I feel like I have the full shot in the bat, like better, but just trying to like the moment I kind of just ease up on it. Is like
Dude, I'm gonna make this awesome in like 3 seconds right now. Just hit one more ball for me, okay? I just want, okay. Stay right there. Okay, you're good right there. Now here's the big thing. Forget the ball position for a second. You, with a wedge, should be over here. Okay, so back out of it for a second. I'm gonna hop in there. Go around the front with Gabe over there. I want you to watch how I set up. Okay, so the big thing for me when I get in there with a wedge, it's just like a chip. The shorter it gets, the more I'm presetting my impact position. Does that make sense? So when I'm like real tight and I'm going to a chip that I'm just hitting a little bump and run 10 feet in front of me, I'm already in the position that I'm gonna be in when I rotate back to the golf ball. This shot's pretty much the exact same thing. So what I want you to do is you're sitting there and the ball's a little back and your upper body is back to the golf ball slightly like this. So what that's forcing you to do is it's forcing you then to figure out a way to create an angle of attack. Does that make sense? Okay, so what we need to do is understand the nose and the sternum, that's the top of our pendulum, okay? So this right here is a good visual for any person to understand that, okay, in theory, that should be the bottom of my swing. Okay, well, if I just get a little bit more to left, what that's now gonna do is help me gonna be able to turn and rotate back to the ball. Look how little I had to do to flight that thing down and to, hit it right to the flag. Gabe, let's go. Let's go. I know. I just, Gabe and I have a thing. It's like the first shot I have to hit when we're talking about it. I mean, if it's not on the stick, he's gonna look at me and be like, what are you doing today? So that had to obviously almost go in. We had to move. No, we gotta make that happen. It's not even a question. So here's the thing, when you get in here, I want you to get in here. I want you to really feel like this is the top of your pendulum. I want you to put that seemingly on the front edge of the golf ball. You're gonna feel a little bit of outside of left foot, a little bit of inside of left foot. This right here really is going to make a big difference for you. You're then gonna be able to feel like you have dead hands, right? Like you have dead hands because you're turning around that fixed point and it's gonna keep the bottom of the swing solid and on that point right there, okay? And I think if you can do that, you won't have to try to. This is what I would do. If I were hitting that ball from where you were, kind of like this, kind of like that, I would have to either rock on top of it or I'd have to really lean the shaft to get that golf ball to do what it needed to do. So that's where the big pull hooks and like the hard shots, that's where they come from. You're just trying to do too much. When I'm literally just trying to, like, watch this. Boom, boom. You see how it comes off low and tight, but it's also very soft. And it's because basically the club's an extension of my hand and I'm just tossing the ball like this. And one analogy that I always give that I think is really good for shots inside 75 yards, if we're down at the Del Mar Fair and you and I, and there was a game, right, where you had to pay like $5 to get the big stuffed animal, okay, and you had to sit in your golf posture and throw something, like throw a ball into the basket, I guarantee you wouldn't go like this. It would be more like, same thing with a wedge, same thing with a chip. Then there's one more little point I like to make when making that analogy. If we're at the Del Mar Fair also and you put $5 on it, like, dude, I'm not gonna just throw this ball. What are you gonna do? You're gonna connect to the target. You're gonna connect. You're gonna look, because looking is gaining feel, and then it's gonna feel like the club and the hands are just an extension of one another. and you're just tossing that golf ball to the target. With a preset impact position, at least with the angle of attack because of where your nose and sternum are. I think if you can do that, game changing. So I just gave you basically, without sitting there and picking apart your swing, here's what needs to happen. No matter what you're doing, like this is what's right. That's the path of the least amount of manipulation. So if you have that blueprint in your mind, what you can at least do is you can get over these next few golf shots here and the rest of your life actually, and have a blueprint for your wedges. The reason I'm able to sit here and not hit that shot all day and then just go right next to the hole, well, I mean, it's just because I was trained well and I had a coach who just had me work on the right stuff, but not just that. He was, I'm referring to Todd Sones, he was just awesome coach and a mentor to me. He really helped me understand the blueprint for what I was trying to accomplish. Yeah, I put my teaching into my own words, but he gave me at least a clear understanding of what really needed to happen. And just, if you think about that, post, top of the sternum, nose, top of the pendulum, focal point, you know? Boom, right around the top. So if I'm going around the fulcrum, which is the top of the pendulum, and rotating around the post, the bottom of my swing is going to be consistent every time. And I think that, you know, just that clarity in that really helps you have a process that you can depend upon. So if you're nervous out in competition, what are you doing? You're going through it and you're like, hey, here we go. There's my post. It's the funny word, but there's the fulcrum, which is the top of the pendulum, right? And I'm going to just turn around those fixed points. And there's the bottom of my swing. And it's going to be consistent every single time. I'm not questioning it. So then all I have to do is just keep the rhythm going and constantly rotate. Blueprint. Okay, so all I do is get in there, every practice swing, every setup, do that.
Yeah. So just like kind of, so for this, do I want to focus on setup right now and then kind of?
All setup. All setup. Yeah, all setup. And then the theme I gave you of doing less with the swing, feeling like the club's an extension, like you're just throwing it out there. Okay, that's the big thing. I think that's the one that really you've got to understand, Jared. Like with chipping, with everything, you have to understand that club is an extension of your hands. Like you just have to make sure that if you had to throw that ball, I know you'd get that baby on line. I know you'd put it right there. That club needs to have the same control. But some reason, when there's a leverage in there, it tends to get away from people and it moves around and angles change. Your goal is to preset those angles, have a nice, consistent motion when hitting this shot right here. You know what I like about that though? I know you hit a little thin. It looked like you just tossed it to the target compared to the last one. That one was right away better. You almost got a charge for that right there. There's one thing that, and here's the thing. If that's a back pin, I love that shot. Like a back pin, little skipper from the middle of the green, I love that shot. Like this, just kind of, right? That had the clip to it, and it just would jump back there. I want this shot. I want the exaggerated right here, ready? Do you see how that thing came off so smooth?
Yeah.
And that thing would just have, it just did, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And that's where that comes from not having any extra. And normally I preach hand speed. You know me, I'm big on that with the swing. I love some good hand speed, but on this shot, I don't really want any of it. I want the hands just to stay moving with the center. And I want you to feel like you're actually delivering the shaft for you because you actually know how to lean the shaft back to the ball the way it started. It won't actually do that. It'll lag a little bit for you. I feel the same thing. I mean, I literally feel like on these shots, like I'm just kind of wide and almost like I'm delivering it with more loft through impact. I don't say the word flipping. I don't say the word, I hate using the word. If the viewer knew how many of my students had to actually feel like they're casting at the top of the swing and we've used those words and they've played just incredible golf, they would be like, you gotta be kidding me. I can't believe that people are using that word to hit the ball. But I mean, in all honesty, for somebody like myself who gets so narrow, I need to feel like I'm actually delivering the club with more loft to get that ball flight and casting. See that spin on that thing? Okay, so the person who's actually casting, though, doesn't change what you have to do, right? You're just keeping the center point and the hands together and then rotating, and the person will have no need to throw the club. The arms get going without the body on this one. Guess what? They're moving back through the golf ball, and you're going to have to do a lot of extra with the hands and the club. So I think that the most important thing for you here, do the least with the hands and the club. Deliver it back with the loft it started, okay? Watch how much better it gets. We're going to have a ton of these right now, and you're going to get really good at these. Yeah, it's way better already. Way better. Like
Floats a little bit more instead of kind of just like instead of like that piercing flight that kind of I had before, it kind of like floats a little bit more.
that was perfect right there.
It floats, but it still feels consistent. Like it feels like it has that.
It came off at the right trajectory, but yet it just had that nice little like this. Like if you're standing out there, you could just, like a soccer ball coming in nice, you could just take it off the chest. It wouldn't hurt, you know? Yeah. But those ones that, it's actually really funny. My dad, if he'd stand in front of me and I'd hit chips, and if he could take it off the chest, he's like, yeah, I can, that's the shot you want. But if it was coming in hot and he had to dodge out of the way, that's not the shot you want. It's so hard to control. And I think that just comes from this, bud. You had the preset angles, you just turned, you just rotated back, and you delivered the club with the loft that it needed to have to get that shot. So let's just get on repeat. Do it with good rhythm. 1, 2. Look how soft that one came off. And see, I love that because it went in. It literally went in.
There's holes in there now?
Dude, listen. Wherever something's stuck in the ground, I guess there's something, you know? Who knows if but whatever, there's like about an inch or two around those holes I've seen that kind of sinks down and it's like the hole.
Yeah.
I mean, that went in that hole, you know? So
I'll take that.
Absolutely. That was so much better though, dude. Just to put that on repeat. Let's go. I just absolutely love that compared to what you were doing when you showed up. And dude, think of how much that lesson is going to help your chipping, the control. How about 30-yard shots? I feel like you're just going like this. It's so easy. And you just preset the angle of attack you need. You can alter the club face according to what you want the ball to do when it hits the green. You can just rotate it a little open. Like those ones I was hitting, I was kind of sneaky, like a couple degrees open, just to kind of kill it a little bit, and I just like to have that first bounce be real soft. Well, I mean, you can. I could square it up if I wanted to hit it in the middle of the green and kind of have it and increase the rhythm a little bit to get a little extra heat out of it and then have it bounce back to a back pin. But the stock shot needs to be to contend. I'm telling you, the stock shot to get to every single pin. I mean, look at this pin down here. It's really tucked in the back of the green. Imagine if you were entering that hole from over here, over that bunker, or from where the chipping green is over there, back to that hole. Gabe, pan down there real quick to show him that. See, that's like, there's not a lot of room, right? So the whole point is, like, if you're hitting those jam wedges and you happen to be playing a big tournament where you're playing maybe like USGA conditions, no chance, right? The shot you just hit, the last like 4, that's gonna stop on any green. That's gonna be good at any place in the world. And that's the one that's gonna be the most reliable because it literally feels like you're throwing the golf ball to the target. So I just want to make a big deal out of that because when I give people like my better players that talk, they always, always, always become better wedge players. Always. And I just want you to keep putting that on repeat in your mind, okay? Off the little sandy lie. Okay, now, go ahead.
Kinda just like, if I, let's say let's say that's pretty much like, you know, like, little like 60 yarders.
Yeah.
And once I start bringing it to kind of like, I don't know, like 80. Because I mean,
Yeah.
because I'm using 54, so like a full 54 can kind of.
So like 80 over here kind of thing? Okay.
Is it like essentially the same feel?
Absolutely. Like it's just a little bit more turn. You know, so if I wanted to throw this out there like 80, I would just go. Come on, baby. Got to do it every time, dude. Just no, like not even a question. It has to happen. Okay. So the whole point is, you see how it's just a bigger version?
Yeah.
Now, here's the mistake people make. I think everybody makes the mistake of their arms outswinging their body on those shots to some degree. Now, what I mean by that, the arms get going without the body center. Immediately gets a little bit too long and behind the body. Not only does the body have to wait for it to allow the arms to catch back up, but then the decel happens because the mind knows that that's too much swing to get it to that target. That's a mistake you want to avoid. So think about this. Take the least amount of swing to get it to the desired target. And especially when you get to the longer ones, that will allow for better, more cleaner rotation. And especially on the shorter ones that people struggle with off tight lies, just getting it like the 30-yard shot, understanding that's the hands being almost just at your right pocket. And then turning. That right there is going 30 yards in the air. A lot of people have a hard time with that because what do? They get the hands hiking way up there and then they have to back out of it. So that was something that I was going to remind you of even on these 60-yard shots, and even on the 80-yard shots I'll remind you of, and it's even relevant on the 30-yard shots, okay? The least amount of arm swing relative to the body's turn possible. Like, see, look what immediately what happens there. It just comes off like literally perfect. You know, can you imagine that ball like right there with a normal lie in a fairway with like an actual Pro V1, you know? Just, boom, yeah, let's do it. I don't want to say I think. I played it 82. That's what I played it. That's what I played it, and it landed right at the stick. You guys saw it. That's why I came up 2 yards short, though, guys. Don't play with me. No, just kidding. In all seriousness, though, that's probably 2 yards downhill for 84 yards. Hey, wait, hold on. I didn't say actual was 82. I said I played it 82. That's 2 yards of down. Come on, let's go. And I swear I didn't check.
Yeah, but it wasn't on, so I was just playing 80.
You know what's,
Probably like 82 actually.
you know what's funny though? What you're working on now, I think is going to help you with your entire golf swing. Because, you know, I keep an eye on you boys, you know, like when you come out here and hit shots, and it's one thing that's a luxury of being on this driving range. When you and Jimmy can tee it up, I get to at least peek over and be like, what's he doing over there, you know? So, I mean, I think that the connection that you find in a wedge is something that you'll find in your golf swing better as a result of what you're working on here, okay? So, you know, that same one-piece takeaway, like I love what you're doing right now, dude. The swing looks great. The plane's really good. Like you're hitting all the checkpoints. It's just a matter of what's the only way you're gonna hit checkpoints, but the result's not gonna be good. Well, yeah, just to not have it actually totally pieced together, right?
This guy.
I mean, you can, I was just gonna say the same thing.
Strutting like he owns the place.
You better be ready. No, you're on camera today. Oh yeah. You're showing up. You're showing up. He looks good. The good news is he looks good. It's check one. Check the. I was just thinking about this. Jimmy was the reason I just thought about this too. And Mike, you need to hear this too. Like, should checkpoint 1 be looking good? And then we should now change it to checkpoint 2 being club down the line of your feet when it's parallel to the ground. I mean, I think that's probably the play, because I mean, I watched Jimmy walk up and I was just like, geez, this guy. We love Jimmy. We just love Jimmy. He's the best attitude on the planet. That's why I love that guy. So much positive energy. And we were making a reference to him earlier today. And he opens the door for good things to happen. So still with that 80-yard shot though, one thing I'd like to see you do, make sure the weight distribution's right from left to right. Okay, so just give me a little bit more inside of this right foot, a little more outside the left. Yeah. Yeah, you just want to feel like your upper body, unlike a driver where, you're bumping those hips and leaving this still. You're actually slightly leaning with your bump here, okay? Just a little bit. It's just a tiny bit. I'm not actually dropping my shoulder like I would a chip, but I'm actually shifting the hip and feeling my upper body move a little bit with it, just so I'm on top of the golf ball. I don't want to see, just that chest really working behind the ball in those short shots, okay? Just turn around that fixed point and you'll be much better off. Watch this. Yeah, it's nice right there. Perfect. Yeah, see that? Isn't that so good? Gosh, it's so nice. Dude, it's all set up, you know what I mean? And then just knowing what you're trying to accomplish in the swing. Hey, so here's the big thing. I'm not saying you're not doing it. I'm just gonna tell you to do it better. The one thing about these shots on a driving range, if you really, really, really want to get good at wedges, because it is target practice, right? Like you can hit solid shots with 4-irons, and if you're just hitting greens, you're still doing well. It's not the case with wedges. Wedges can't be 20 feet. They have to be inside 10, And here's the big thing. That's that personal connection to it. Like I'm not even as worried about, to me, I want to see two things. Obviously distance control is huge, but I want to see it I'm really picky. I want to see it right on line, right on line. And right on line is not just technique. Right on line is totally, come here and look at this golf ball real quick. I want to see these two divots? I'm cutting that actual spot between the two, that when I'm in there, I have two spots to connect to, the target and my spot. And I like to stay open a little longer. Sometimes people get in there and they close themselves off a little bit. But I like on shots, especially 80, even 100 and in, I really like to stay in there and connect to the target prior to ever hitting the shot. It's pretty common, the last one you didn't really hit, it wasn't that bad. You just aimed 6 feet right and hit it 8 feet right. So it's for you, finding those spots, getting the club down. Because even if I don't look at the hole right now, and I can just look at look how it goes right on line for the most part. Oh, dude, that was gonna be. I've never seen that happen here on this range. But yeah, so the whole point to that was find something very definitive in front of the golf ball on this golf shot, connect to the target a lot more, and then hit the shot. Okay, so if you put all that together, you got the technique, you got what to do, you got the blueprint. Then now you have this routine that you're constantly doing and just getting in there and attaching to. Set. Nice, dude. Those are all good, dude.
Yeah. Now it's just kind of dialing it in.
Figuring out how much your arms you just, go back relative to your, the height of your body. I used to pick out spots in my body, like sternum, shoulders, belt. So nice.
What about ball position wise?
Ball position wise, me personally, there's two ways to go. Kind of depends on ball flight too. So you can go, I personally like for the stock standard, I don't like ball back. I actually like ball relative to my feet, just a little in front, but then I lean forward because ball position relative to my body is the center of my body. So even though I'm hitting the shot like this, look how my upper body's more on top of it. So I feel like my body's right on top of the golf ball. And that way I can just freely swing through the golf ball. That's what's nice for me about that. I don't feel like I have to jam it in the ground and get it real hot and low if it's too far back. And then if it's too far forward and I'm back behind it, I don't feel like I have to move into the golf ball to then hit it. So just putting it on the front of your sternum and then just leaning up a little bit left, that helps you just turn right on top of the golf ball. And I just feel like from there, it's really easy to, the club enters the ground right. I just don't like when the ball gets back. A lot of angles change there, and that club in your hands and your body just don't quite have the same connection. Now, you can move it on the back edge of the sternum, and that's not a massive change. It's like that much. And that can definitely get the angle of attack of more down the ball. And you see how that just came out a little bit lower, a little tighter? And, excuse me, there's nothing wrong with that, as you see there, to doing that. If you're dead into the wind, back pin, you're trying to control the spin, that absolutely can be something you do, okay? So, front end, normal, lean up to it. Back end, normal, lean even same amount. You get two different ball flights, but not that different. With the feel, different with the ball flight, not different with the feel. See, that was so much better. So it's so cool. We heard this the other day, actually. It was pretty awesome. One of our students was like, yeah, man, I was just having a moment out there on the course and went back that evening and watched our YouTube video. And I just absolutely striped it the next few days. This was just awesome. So that's always, that makes us feel good too. That's what's fun about the YouTube, is it's there forever. You'll be able to look back in 10 years and still be able to see it, you know? It's awesome.
Thank you guys so much for watching our video. Any questions or comments you have, please leave them below. Also, click the link below to pick up 3 free videos. We appreciate you guys. Enjoy our channel.